Very positive stuff about the animal farm. It's not the video you expected, but it's the video we're giving you. It happened. He launched it. Everyone can stop crying now. Fingers crossed. Welcome to the show where we build financial power. My name is Matt, and this is
Potter.
Today we're talking about different concepts around the animal farm. I'm so glad that it's launched. So glad that it's launched. All the videos that came out, rightfully so, saying when it's going to launch and this is going to happen, that's going to happen. It's so good that it's finally launched. We're going to dive into that today. If you're new to this channel, appreciate you sliding by. Every Thursday, Friday, we put out a show talking about this crazy world of crypto, specifically DeFi. None of this is financial advice. Do your own research. But I am learning this process. Potter is much deeper into this world than I am, but I guess I'm about 6 months in now learning this world and sort of taking me under her wing, and I'm documenting my process of learning and also still her learning process. But today we want to talk about the heavily anticipated relaunch of the project, the animal farm, specifically the Piggy Bank. And Potter is hot and heavy, loving it. And I am still skeptical as hell. And I like the dichotomy that we have, to be honest. So let's dive in. Let's dive into it.
Okay. So, hey everybody. So first we'll start off with, drip. For those who may have just wandered by because you searched on drip and you found us. Animal Farm was launched by the creator of drip. And I actually retired because of the platform. And not only did I retire from the platform because of the platform, but when I saw Animal Farm coming out, I was like, oh, I can't lose now. I'm going to be fine. And then he paused it. Uh-oh. So,
and pausing is not a thing. If you don't know, pausing is not like, that's not like a standard thing. So,
right. It's for emergencies only.
Yeah.
And he had an emergency. There was an actor, somebody who's trying to exploit the system, not necessarily a bad actor, who knew how to get bots in, and they tried to get in before everybody else, and they got so many of what makes the whole ecosystem profitable that it wasn't fair to everybody else. So there's a huge process that involved thousands of transactions that the developer Forex Sh4rk had to recreate, in which he did. Now, what I did leading up to the whole thing was I studied so much Animal Farm, everything it was supposed to do, over and over, hours and hours of video. And I can relate with those folks who were upset about the rollout because it was just frustrating. You just wanted to get going. But it was worth the wait, because everything that he said that he was going to do in those earlier videos is being done. Right. Yeah. So the bottom line is, you can tell from Telegram, that it was positive, because before the launch, it was really everybody negative, saying that Forex wasn't going to show up, saying Forex was, it was a soft rug. Never heard of that before. But even me, I felt good that I said, as much as I like Forex, even I started to have a little bit of a doubt. And I like that. I think that that's healthy.
Yeah.
Because you want to be conscious about what you're doing with a developer. You don't want to be too emotional.
Yep.
And so then it got to the point, though, when he would talk, I didn't even want to hear his voice.
Yeah.
I couldn't take it, because one, I was hearing everything again, but that was also what caused me to mess up on the launch, because it was those AMAs that are needed to understand what's happening at launch. And so as Animal Farm Part 1, Forex said, okay, I can split this into, I can roll it out all as one and it'll be broken, or I can do it in 2 phases. Sorry, guys, I'm going to do it in 2 phases. The first phase is just the Piggy Bank. We'll go into it a little bit more in depth. We're going to just cover the rollout today. But the piggy bank is drip, but for advanced users. Does that make sense, Matt?
Good way to put it. Yeah. Yeah.
And so what you have to do is you have to understand how to create pairs. You have to understand patience in selling. You have to understand that what it means to compound your interest over weeks.
Yep.
Understand that once you lock it in, like drip or like a miner, it's locked in. However, there are applications that will show you what's your max payout, unlike a miner. So you have all of these different technologies going in versus drip, which is buy BNB, press the button, stake, come back and hydrate.
Yep.
It's and you get 1%, which is still one of the best deals out there.
Yeah.
The BNB miner guys had some things to say about it, but they're right. A little aside, they bring up a good point. They said that if you invested as much in the BNB miner as you did with drip, you'd be better off. And I looked at the numbers and they were right. However, you couldn't see where anything was. There was no comfort level. That was a complete degen play. You would have made more, but you wouldn't have slept at night.
That's perfect. You took the words out of my mouth. Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So where was I?
Piggy Bank and how dripping, they're similar. One's more advanced.
Yeah. So when it comes to this level, some people had already, like me, had already put in their stakes and locked them for a period of time.
Yep.
This is what's crazy what Forex did. I mean, I've worked for billion-dollar companies, as a consultant. But the way that he executed that pause in QA, in testing, and rolling out to production without errors, it's just unheard of. All of my integrity-based fears went bye-bye when we went out the window. When that happened.
When it relaunched and there was no
issue. When it relaunched, and then I saw everything that I'd studied back in January and December and continued to study through the months of launch. We're all doing exactly what he said, including what he said was going to be in there.
Yep.
And then not only that, his approach to say, I'm not going to release all of the PIX tokens. I'm going to hold them back, because what's going to happen is people are going to say, I'm out, right? They don't have any patience. They're just going to go out. So one thing that he did is he held up the 2%. He said, 2% a day. That's all I'm going to let you take out. And that was smart, because that allows him to see, hey, how much is coming out right now? What is really coming out? And then he can get his metrics to say, okay, I've got all of these millions that I can put back in, but if I'm like Do Kwon and I announce it, the bad actors are just going to say, hey, I'm going to arbitrage this thing. I'm going to let it go up and down. So what he's doing is he's just letting it wait and see. Now, bringing up Terra Luna.
You say Do Kwon?
Yeah, he's the leader of Terra Luna.
Okay, got it.
So, oh crap, I forgot my thought.
You were about to go in. You were about to go into Terra Luna, actually.
Yeah. So a lot of these people, thank you. A lot of these people, they're not just taking out because they don't believe in drip. They're taking out because for several long weeks, their money was locked up, and then a lot of them were in Terra Luna. They need their money. So, for the amount of LPs that I saw staked in the garden, they went up. Now, we just had an expiration because a lot of things unlocked today, right? So you'll see the locks drop again, and that means that people are going to sell. But it doesn't mean people are out of the platform, because, again, not financial advice, but this thing, to me, in my opinion, is the best thing that I have working for me right now. It is not, remember we got rid of the word bullish, but it is so strong. Everything that this guy said that he was going to do, he did. And that's all you can ask for. So if you want to look at the price, yes, if you're hunting for a bargain, you could probably get in. But he also improved the rewards. So when I staked pigs before in the first V1, I was bummed. I wasn't getting anything. And now with maybe 1/10 of what I had, not even, I'm getting more. You know, so he even fixed that. So you get a smart guy, right, who says, I'm going to pause. He has integrity. We give him time, even though it was super hard. And he puts it out exactly like he's going to say.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that everybody's going to forgive and just move on.
Yep.
And it is only because I'm technical that I was able to go into the contract, understand what he was doing. Not at the, you know, I'm not going to write any contracts tomorrow, but I was still able to understand the most core components to make sure that what he said he was going to do was still in place, and what he said he was going to improve upon was improved upon. Mm-hmm. And check, 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 in my opinion. And a lot of people, if they wanted to test it, a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to go in, you know, and for a bunch of weeks, I don't even trust him. Well, do a zero stake. You know, that's an option. Mm-hmm. And how much you put in is on you. Again, not financial advice. Yeah. It's still a game. It's still early. But I am pretty sure this is I am pretty sure this is going to last as long as Drip, because it just makes sense. It's common sense. Deposit, earn 3% a day. All right. Don't deposit and put it on a long percentage. Let's just give an example, 100%. Then every day over the amount of weeks, you're compounding 3%. So your 3% is going to add up to that 100%, maybe even making it 400%. And then you're going to get 400%, 3% of 400% every day. That is not anything that you can understand unless you see it happen, right? So whether it's with $1, you know, or you know, $10, to see it working, you have to see it working. And we've had a week, and I've seen a week of working. Mm-hmm. And even the strategies, some people in the miners were saying, you know, 6 and 1, but Stunna said, let's do 3 and 1. I was like, okay, that makes sense. So I talked a long time, Matt. Did that all make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely not. There's no, I don't think there's, even if you explained it for the next 3 hours, I don't think it could all make sense. I think there's years and years of experience for you to, so that's not a dig on how you explained it. It's just an ignorance on my part. So that's all it is. Now, so what you just explained though, and the wrap up, I think for that concept for the viewer is that Potter has an extensive understanding of the literal inner workings of Animal Farm, of Drip, and of the Piggy Bank. So you have an insight that gives you knowledge that, and then with knowledge, you know, there is no room for ignorance because of that knowledge. For me, I don't have the coding background and all that, and I can hear what you say, but only 1/10 of it I can pick up on and actually retain unless I hear it 8 billion times. Okay. So on my side of the fence, I go in optimistically skeptical, meaning, yes, I'm in the Animal Farm very small because I want to see how it operates. I don't want to operate out of fear and be like, he's bad, I'm not doing it, no way, not getting it. Because I didn't put fresh money into this. This is recycled capital. It's money that I can afford to lose. My intention is to be in this DeFi world and to make money from it. And without a doubt, it is a risk. it absolutely is a risk. So that's my mentality going into it. Potter asked me yesterday, we were going over things. She was like, it's great. It's awesome. Holy crap. It's great. She was like, and I wasn't matching the energy, and I knew she could feel it. And she was like, what's up? You don't feel the same way. And I was like, yeah, damn right. I'm skeptical. And,
and I liked it.
And it's you whatever you feel is how you should feel. I highly encourage you not to operate out of fear, though, because during that time and whatnot, without a doubt, I agree. Like a lot of people said, I agree. Stop it, fix it, roll it out, without a doubt. Regardless how it was done and all that, I think it degrades the amount of trust. I'm not going to beat on that; it's been beat to death. But going from there and moving on, seeing how the project works, like you said, being in it just a little bit, and then seeing how it works, and then moving forward. So I think you get to see two sides of the fence with Potter's deep analytical understanding of it, and then let's just be honest, it is what it is, more of an emotional reaction, and I guess maybe installing trust in a trustless world. There's two sides of the coin. Neither is wrong. It depends on where you're at. But I think you covered that well. Yeah.
That's great feedback, because I think a lot of people are just like you.
Absolutely.
Whoever's found this video, they're probably just like you. They're going, I want to trust, but what happened? So, I mean, I called it on one of our shows entropy, right? And that's what I was afraid that Forex was not going to appreciate. The world is going to continue to just fall apart. There's not going to be a good point. But what he did was, he acknowledged that and said, I'm going to break it up into two parts. But the thing was, it was his tokenomics that kept me on board. So if the system had been going, he would have had to pause it anyway, because PancakeSwap changed the way that they were dealing a level of collateral that we were using for collateral rehypothecation, which is basically, if you have a car, you get a loan on your car, and you make money from that, that's rehypothecation. Okay. And so he was going to do that. So when they changed their tokenomics, he had to change his, and he did it in a week. That's really hard. I mean, as devs, like there's a game I play. This dev was given a year, and they rolled it out, and it's horrible.
Wow.
I mean, and I know that the guy's dealing with 200 characters, and but a year. So what Forex did with a limited staff in 2 weeks. Wow. So then so let's get onto the next part, right? Part 2, which is the rollout of dogs. So dogs and the rest of the farm. The biggest thing about this whole ecosystem is that it all talks. Drip, pigs, they're part of the same. But with the first part of the launch, without dogs being launched, there was no way for us to truly realize the power of Animal Farm all the way back over to Drip. Right now, Drip is a little bit still standing on its own for the next few weeks. But once that engine takes off, like it's working for Piggy Bank, it's just math, folks. It's just numbers. It's going to start feeding and start causing buy pressure on the Drip token.
Wow. And
with people participating in, feel like we were good. We were some of the first people to help people see the reservoir. But now it's taking off. So you're going to have the reservoir taking off. You're going to have the Animal Farm putting buy pressure on the Drip token. You're going to have it also putting pressure on the Pig token. And I've seen that these are not far-fetched theories. They are things that I'm seeing with my own eyes. Not that it will continue. Not that it will, oh my God, you're going to be rich overnight. Like any DeFi story, you're going to hear that somebody put in about a year of work, right, before they really started to see stuff. So if you're just starting now, be patient. Don't try to think it's going to be a get rich. If somebody told you, hey, come in, you're going to get rich quick, that's not DeFi. That's not what's going to happen.
You mean a DeFi success story that lasted, that wasn't sort of a flash in the pan? Got it.
Correct.
Got it.
Yeah, like Stunna came in with nothing.
Yep.
Ray came in from a whole different side. Crypto Talk with Thomas G. Sorry, I've got to say his rap. He's a guy who also came in with small bags and grew his bags, and now he's an influencer that when he goes into stuff, he like Stena, he changes the dynamics of a project just by his endorsement. Those guys all took time. So now let's go back to part 2. The dogs is how a lot of influencers are going to be able to reap the benefits of selling the platform. It's already a platform that we as individuals are told that we're going to be part owners of because we have stake in the pig garden. Forex has announced that when it comes to certain governance, whereas he took action by himself, he's going to put it to a vote now. So voting, dogs being staked and paying rewards again, pools being enacted that fees will be paid to the pigs holders. All of it's just right there. So now we've got to wait for phase 2, right? But there's just not any reason to believe it's not going to work because of the ethics, the integrity, and the fact that the numbers match the architecture's prediction of what it should be. Naturally there's a plus and minus.
Yeah.
But if we're looking for integrity in DeFi, I think Forex is probably the only person that you can conclusively say with his actions, other than the restart.
Yeah.
When it comes to using his tools to make yourself a living and make profit, he's delivered to me 100%. I can't give anybody in DeFi a higher endorsement. And there are people out there who are good, but none of them are proven for over a year, right? None of them have launched not just one thing, but 2 things. And Animal Farm still does have time before you can call it a clear win. And that time is a year from May 2023 is when you could say, it lasted.
Do you feel like the year, is there any sort of DeFi number that says, all right, this project it's going to last? Like if it hits 6 months, hits 1 year, is there any sort of gold standard out there, or not really?
Yeah, I think it's a year.
Really?
Yeah. If you can survive in this climate a year with people coming in trying to fudge your project, retail investors coming in and then just getting scared, and they cause sell pressure because nobody knows who's a retail investor and who's a big investor. But when you see a lot of selling, people join suit.
Yeah.
And so if you can last a year through that,
yeah.
And the only last thing I want to bring up was the strategies. And this is something that I think that everybody should do. We have decided that we're not going to be the referral channel, right? We don't mind, and we do have a link if you want to follow us, have a party, become part of our drip team. But there are other crypto influencers out there, and I've named several of them today, that will walk you through the animal farm. They give great advice, and you should look at them for suggestions on different ideas on what strategies you need to approach. I had a strategy that I was thinking of in January, not the same life anymore, where I was going to put, just the rent or mortgage in, and then figure out a way to have all the metrics so that the 3% would eventually pay me on my mortgage or rent day what I needed. And that's highly complex, but you can't just think about it up here. You literally have to be in the game and play it. So that was really it.
Now, you said you're going to put your mortgage in. You mean like the money that you would be making, that you would be paying your mortgage with, you're going to take that money and put it somewhere else. Got it.
I'm saying like I would get the amount of capital that I needed to pay the mortgage rent.
Got it.
Then I would stake it over X amount of weeks.
Got it.
Now, what I thought about was, okay, to do that once, I'm going to have to wait a long time. But what if I did that with several of them and use portions of it to build it? That means that I could get it all and then build another pool.
Yeah.
And then I can have a pool, and then it would start building months.
Because you can do numerous pools in the
yes, and it looks like they're introducing a feature where you can deposit more into a current pool. I tried it this morning. I went kind of late, so because I was like, I don't want to lose, and I can't tell if it works. So maybe that's later. So the only things that have worked for me right now are sell and compound.
Yeah, which always are tried and true and make sense. So that's finally a good piece about the animal farm as a whole, the relaunch. It's good, and I'm just glad that conversation is now over. It's really good. It's really good. So out there, if you enjoyed this video, appreciate you. Hit that little like button. We would greatly appreciate it. Every Thursday, Friday, we bring you a show 10 Eastern. Potter, you got anything in closing?
No. Just thanks for showing up. We appreciate our lovely. Are we up to? I think it's like 14 who are average now, right?
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
So we appreciate you, wonderful 14.
Yes, indeed. We appreciate you. Well, builders, keep building.
Cheers.